Hi, guys. Happy Sunday, day 15. We are on day 15, and the topic today is building the foundation. So, my name is Judy Abois, and I am the owner of Entice Renew, and that is a health and wellness business. And we basically help you build the foundation of your health on a cellular level using biblical principles. And today we're actually going to learn why um, it's important to have a foundation and really learning what a foundation is. Okay. You can't really build something if you don't even know what it is. So, what is a foundation? And I do break up the definitions in English and Hebrew. Today's going to be both. So, what is a foundation? A foundation is an act of founding. When you found something, to set or ground on something solid, to establish something often with provision for future maintenance. So it's something that you maintain after it's built. To melt a material such as a metal and pour into a mold. To take the first steps into building. So think of a picture of, um, when they say breaking ground, think about what that looks like. They got to dig into the earth and really get into what that actually, like, what I mean, what is required and what it actually looks like. So basically, like creating that mold. All right. So that was basically like one of the definitions. One of the other ones is a basis, such as a tenet or principle, which is, we know the Bible is the laws, rules, and principles of Yah. So that's what we're standing on, right? Biblical principles. Funds given for the permanent support of an institution, which is an endowment, an underlying base or support, example, a masonry substructure of a building, a body or ground upon which something is built or overlaid, a woman supporting undergarments, a corset, a cosmetic, a cosmetic usually used as a base for makeup. And then synonyms are establishment, institute, institution, basis, cornerstone, bedrock, groundwork, base, ground, root, support, framework, footing, authority. It says, so think of it as like, it's that very first thing that you do before everything else gets started. It's that very first thing. Antonyms are exterior, cowardice, fear, outside, and top, which is interesting. You're probably like, what? How is fear an antonym? Well, when you're grounded in something, you're standing rooted, you are firm. Like, think about your beliefs. You are firm in that belief. So you are founded in that thing. But if you're shaken and wavery, you're going to fear and you're going to be a coward. You're going to fear what people say, what people think, and you're going to be a coward walking out that thing. All right. So in Hebrew, there's a few definitions when it comes to foundation. The pressing and in Hebrew, things are described by its function. And so it's the pressing down of the soil to form a firm and flat surface. So think about like when you do have soil, right, and you want to make that thing hard and firm, you got to pat it. You got to compact it. Like you got to like literally like push it together. It means a pillar, a strong pressing down on something, a support for a roof when the roof presses down on the pillar. So, you know, you have in buildings and they have pillars, that's like a support. It keeps that thing up. If you don't have a support, how are you going to have like the roof on the top of it? There wouldn't be no roof. It'll just be out and open to all the elements. It also means base and Lord. Base as a foundation of a thing, and Lord, the ruler, as the foundation to a community. And who's our foundation rooted in? It's rooted in Yah, through the work that Yahushua Mashiach had done on the cross for us, right? He is the ruler of our foundation. He's the ruler as the foundation to us. Firm, to set something firmly in place, either physically or with words. And then also a place of firm support, which that can even be, that can be people as well. And then it's also a level in a field, a leveled place. I'm doing it. Oh, you were able to see my hands. I'm going to say I'm over here doing hand gestures like, I can see it. All right. So now that we have that understanding, oh wait. So think about when you're building a foundation, you can build a foundation in a few things. A house, you can build a foundation in a house. You can build the foundation, lay a foundation of a place or a plan, which is interesting because that's something that we're doing, right? Planning out how you're going about your eating lifestyle changes. All right, so one definition, not definition, I'm sorry. One scripture that really stuck out to me when it came to foundation is Matthew 7, chapter 7, 24 through 27. Matthew 7, 24 through 27. And this is the KJV version. Therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man, which built his house upon a rock. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the wind blew, and beat upon the house, and it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock. It was firm. It was able to stand. And everyone that heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them not shall be likened like a foolish man, which built his house upon the sand. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and beat upon that house, and it fell. And great was the fall of it. It's so interesting. So I'm reading this, and obviously we know that you have, being obedient, right? Being obedient to Yah is the foundation. That's how we build our foundation. But I just, reading this the whole time, it just stuck out to me right here. Therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them. That's the important part, which I actually was going to talk about later anyway. But for whatever reason, it's like things, but sometimes when you read it again, it kind of like stick out to you. So remember that part. Remember that part. Those who hear the sayings of Yah and do them, they're like a wise man. They are wise for following him. Because when you are walking with him, you're building your house on a rock. When you're in between and you're like, I'll do this a little bit over here, but I ain't really gonna do that. Nah, I'd rather do that, but not this. You're building your house on sand. And when the storm comes, then rain's gonna be descending, the flood's gonna come, and the wind is gonna blow, and it's gonna beat down your house. Okay? And the fall will be great. Remember, this is our house. This is our house, y'all. This is our house. And it's so interesting too, because a lot of people build their houses on beaches. And how many houses be just getting swept away? But apparently we don't learn anything, and we just love the view and the beauty. But anyway, I ain't coming for people that have beach houses. They're very nice. Okay. So we want to be wise builders and not foolish ones. Okay. Obviously, some people have a solid foundation. Some people have an unstable foundation. All right. And I want to talk about that water. Because there's the rock, there's that sand that you build, and you got those two choices. Then you have that water that comes and knocks you down, okay? That water that comes and just crashes everything. Like, what does that water actually represent? And it can look different for a lot of us. And so there's kind of like two things happening here, right? Okay. So you have, well, it's more than just the rain, right? Because you do, I mean, it's more than just the water, because you do have the wind as well. So let me actually acknowledge that part too. So what does the water and the wind represent? For some of you guys, that is actually, the water and the wind is actually knocking you over. And that can be having low self-esteem. That can be overeating. That can be toxic relationships. That can be stress. And then there's like another side of this where the rain, the flood, and the wind is causing you to go to other sources of comfort. And it's almost like I'm saying the same thing in a way, but some of you guys actually have your foundation. You're just not standing on it because you already know. So this part is for those who actually already know what their foundation is. Is it lack of, because when something happens, right? All of a sudden, you're like, oh, I need my cup of coffee because my nerves are just shot. You need that sugar. You got to eat that Twix bar, or you got to pop that piece of chocolate or something. Some people is drinking alcohol. Some people is doing drugs. What is that source of comfort in your life? I mean, what is it called? Like, wait, let me rephrase that. What is it causing you to chase to be your comfort? All right, so when it comes to the foundation, how do you build it? Honestly, we are on day 15. We've been talking about this the entire time, literally. But the thing is, a lot of people are looking for those physical answers and expecting me to actually tell them, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. when it's actually deeper than that, because a person needs to figure out why they're not even able to do those things. Because again, some of you guys have answers, but it's a challenge with maintaining. And there's underlying things. So rather than look for these physical answers, a person wants to, rather than look for the physical answers, we need to actually turn to the one who has the answer and who is the answer. Yeah, moving stuff. Who is the answer, because he created us. And what do I mean by that? So I shared the story a few times. Like, I did a 21-day consecration with my friends, and the whole basis around it was there's a lot going on here, and in this world right now, and I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. Like, how do we navigate this? Like, what is going on? And basically the answer was, come follow me. Okay. Although I didn't hear those words, come follow me. When you actually look at, because what he did was he showed me promises. And one was, the most quickest thing was, I moved here. The other ones are still being walked out. But in order for me to even walk into those promises, it required me to do something. Follow him. I had to actually follow him. You've been taking shortcuts. Where's that been getting you? You got to be real with yourself. I think what's happening is a lot of people are deceiving themselves because they just want to hope that this time it'll be different, and they're doing the same thing over and over and over again. What is that saying? Doing the same thing over and over. It's oh my gosh, I can't even think about it right now. It's by isn't it by Einstein who said it? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. It's literally insanity. Literally. It's like this is really a deception to keep doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting something to change. In order for something to change, you actually have to do something different. Literally. But even when you do something different, you got to stick with it. And you got to remain consistent. That's the important part. You got to stick with it and remain consistent. All right. And we know that a lot of times, you may fall in human error. It happens. But there's a lot of people that's actually choosing to just be disobedient. Literally choosing to be disobedient. All right. So if you are doing the 21-day consecration, you actually have a food list. There is a food list. If you're not aware that there's a food list, you didn't know, because one of the first things that I kept reiterating was go to my website so you can get the digital downloads and understand what a consecration is and what a fast is, so you can know the difference and not mesh the two together, because they are different. And the food list is there as well. I encourage you, this is just my advice, I encourage you to stick with that food list. Stick with that food list. Okay? At the end of the day, you have a choice to make. I really can't tell you how to eat, because I don't know how Yah is leading you to eat. Because I don't know. I'm not having that one-on-one with you. It's very easy for someone to just be like, oh yeah, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. Yes, that's true. And I can still share those things with you, but I'm still going to encourage you to go to Yah about it. So then that way you can hear his voice directly. Okay. Like for example, paying attention to how your body feels after you eat something or you drink something. It speaks to you, but you're not listening. But we are very disconnected from our bodies in so many ways. But he's changing that. He is changing that. One of the reasons why people struggle with making a lifestyle change when it comes to eating is because their flesh is ruling them and there's a lack of self-control. Self-control is one of the fruits of the spirit. And this is just I'm just going to share my thoughts because I'm like, the eating is one area where a lot of people do not have self-control. They don't. I was one of those people. There's still some areas where, I have like a little stumbling block, but I've been able to maintain for years, and that has been a blessing in itself. And then being able to move forward, because after you maintain for a while, sometimes you actually do want to move forward and still continue to grow. You don't just want to stay at the same place that you're at. You could, but then you won't grow. And then you just be stuck and stagnant. And that ain't no fun. Because stagnant water stink. And I ain't trying to stink. And I'm pretty sure you ain't trying to stink either. But if you want to, that's your choice. It doesn't feel good when you make changes because your flesh is used to doing what it wants because it has been controlling you. So once you take back that control, it's going to throw a fit. It's going to have a tantrum. It's going to get loud. It's going to yell at you. It's not going to feel good. Your head may start hurting. You may start breaking out. Like, it may seem like it's a whole thing of chaos going on. But that's just those toxins getting out or those spirits being released on, fighting because this is what I always vision. When the flesh act up, it's the spirits and people going like this. Let them shake their way out. That's what they need to do. They need to get out. Okay? Let it twitch. Let your flesh twitch. It'll die. Your flesh will die, but your spirit man will rise up. Okay? And you will gain that self-control. The food is controlling you. Get your control back. Get your control back. So, as far as homework, something to reflect on. Okay, so identify getting tongue-tied. Identify the temptations that the rain, the flood, and the winds represent in your life. Identify those temptations. Because those are the things that keep getting you knocked over. And once you're able to identify them and see them, that helps you. The more self-aware you become, the more you're able to navigate situations because you understand what things is going on versus, I don't understand why I can't get it together. I don't understand what's going on here. It'll give you clarity. The more clarity you have, the more easier you'll be able to walk out this thing. So identify the temptations that the rain, the floods, and the wind represents in your life that keeps knocking you over. And look up some verses that will help you stand back up. You can literally use Google. It's okay. Think about what verses. I mean, right here today. I mean, there's some verses that we've been talking about, a lot of verses. Maybe some verses actually stood out to you and you keep those. If there's something that really came out to you, maybe there was another verse that Abba led to you that we didn't discuss. Hold on to that. He's revealing it to you for a reason. Because that's what's going to help you. That's going to help you stand. It's going to help you build your house on that solid foundation of Him. And then write out the changes that you need to make. All right. Write out all the changes that you need to make. I know that can sound intimidating or overwhelming. Just focus on making the list, but don't focus on the how. Do not focus on the how you're going to do it. Don't worry about that part right now. Just make the list. There's something about when you actually, because you can hold all of the stuff in your mind, but when you actually put it on paper, you're able to see it. And it's like I don't understand the science behind it, but it's like a reiteration of things. And you're able to follow it. You can cross things off. You can check it, or you can just remind yourself of where you're at, so that way you can keep going. It helps you keep tabs. So yeah, please do not focus on the how. Tomorrow we're actually going to discuss the stages of change, and I've talked about the stages of change before in one of the other videos, but this one's going to be dedicated just for that, because it'll help you navigate the how. Like the how you make these changes. So that way you can start putting a plan in place for yourself. Because anytime there's a foundation built, isn't there always a plan? Do they just start building a house without a plan? No. There's a template to follow. We can live life all willy-nilly. People got that choice. That ain't my plan. I already know what that looked like. So, what is your blueprint? The Bible. So you got to make a blueprint for yourself. And that's what we're going to be doing. Oh, I like that word, blueprint. I like that word. Okay. So yeah. So that's pretty much it. May Yah lead you, and may He be with you as you continue to navigate and rebuild in your health. In Yahushua's name. That is my prayer for you. That is my prayer for you. And I hope y'all have a great day. I know I went live super early. I always say have a great day and then keep talking. Anyway. I hope y'all have a great day. And thank you. And I said it again. Thank you for just bearing with me with these different times that I've been going live. This is my first time going live every day like this. I have never done nothing like this, like ever. So this is definitely new for me. So I thank you for the grace. I thank you for the grace. And just bearing with me in that way, because it can be easier if it's like, oh, you have one set time, but my schedule, it changes every day. It's similar like weekly, but it changes every day. So I wasn't able to necessarily give you an exact time. But in the future, I will be better with that. At least scheduling the live ahead of time, which is actually a good idea. So I can schedule the live for tomorrow, today. So then that way you kind of have a heads up. So, all right, y'all be blessed.